Imagine a grand, cavernous space, the interior of a cathedral, where the ceilings soar high above, supported by massive stone columns. This is Notre-Dame in Paris, transformed into a stage for one of history's most grandiose events. The scene is set with elaborate draperies of crimson and gold, casting a warm, regal glow over the assembly. At the heart of this majestic spectacle is Napoleon Bonaparte, the central figure who commands the scene. He stands on a raised platform, his posture exuding both power and poise. He is draped in imperial robes of the finest fabric, a deep crimson velvet trimmed with glimmering gold embroidery. The robe flows down in rich, voluminous folds, pooling around his feet and catching the light in a way that gives it a life of its own. His face is calm, focused, and resolute, a man fully aware of the weight of the moment. Napoleon's right hand is raised, holding the crown aloft, the golden circlet shining brightly against the darker tones of the surrounding environment. This is no ordinary crown. It is a symbol of absolute power and self-coronation, a departure from tradition, as Napoleon places the crown upon his own head. This act, captured at the precise moment in the painting, is a bold declaration of his authority, marking his transition from military leader to emperor of the French. To Napoleon's right, seated and slightly turned, is Josephine, his wife, who has just been crowned empress. She is an embodiment of grace and humility, kneeling on a velvet cushion. Her attire is equally resplendent, a white silk gown adorned with gold details and a diadem that sparkles with jewels. Her expression is serene, almost reverential, as she looks toward her husband, her hands clasped together in a gesture of piety and devotion. Surrounding this central tableau is a multitude of figures, each adding layers of narrative and emotion to the scene. The clergy, in their ornate vestments of gold and white, stand to one side, their expressions a mix of solemn duty and acquiescence. The Pope, seated and slightly removed from the main action, watches with a gaze that holds a complex mix of resignation and formality, his role diminished in this self-coronation by Napoleon's audacity. On the other side, the nobility and other dignitaries are gathered. They are dressed in the finest court attire, their faces turned toward the emperor, each figure a study in attention and respect. Some are older, their faces lined with the weight of their years and the politics they've witnessed, while others are younger, their gazes filled with awe and perhaps a touch of envy. The colors in this group are rich and varied, deep blues, purples, and golds, creating a tapestry of textures and shades that contrast with the central figure's bold red and white. In the background, the architecture of the cathedral itself rises like a silent witness to the event. The stone arches and tall stained glass windows create a framework that both contains and amplifies the drama unfolding below. The light streaming through the windows is diffused, casting a soft, ethereal glow over the scene, blending the sacred with the temporal. Every detail in the painting speaks to the meticulous care with which David has rendered this moment. The folds of fabric, the gleam of polished surfaces, the varied expressions of the assembled crowd. They all come together to create a scene that is both a historical record and a carefully constructed symbol of power, ambition, and the divine right claimed by Napoleon. The overall emotion conveyed is one of grandeur and calculated magnificence. There is a sense of inevitability, as if this moment has been destined and carefully orchestrated, not just by Napoleon, but by history itself. It is a scene that demands attention, commanding the viewer to not only witness but to feel the weight of the occasion. The merging of military prowess, political acumen, and imperial ambition into a single, unforgettable image.